Yeah. What do you think? I need to shave again. My beard is starting to grow back already, so probably time to trim up once again. It's fun watching. Like, just I kind of wait before the live goes live, and I can see who's waiting. Well, not the actual person that's waiting, but the number of people that are waiting. So it's kind of neat to see them go up and down, up and down, and then whoever's on right now. If you got the ability to say hello, say hello. I'd love to start the chit chat and to see where people are from, who's on today. Here it's a little bit rainy outside, but it's only 1 degree. The snow that's on the ground is melting away quickly. I'm seeing patches of grass outside. I will take you for a little walk around like I have done in the past, just so you can see outside and see what's going on here in Eastern Canada. This morning, as per normal, I got up early. I tend to be an early riser. Chit chatted with a few people online, and then came down here to the office. I was able to. I had a few people that sent me some stamps last week, so I kind of put together a few packets and all ready for those to go back out into the mail. I've got a couple things that are arriving from Amazon. I have a Lego parcel that should be arriving today. I found something that was really marked down, so it was something I was missing, so I picked that one up. I did pick up, let's see here. This arrived yesterday. You're saying, what is this? These are for stamps. So I have been putting them in binders, especially when I'm getting surprise things sent into me. I've been sorting the stamps by country and adding them to binders. And where I had a bunch of things come in last week, I wanted to make sure I had more stuff for those. And when I go off to the stamp fair, I want to make sure that I've got more of them. I may even have to order another pack or two just to keep organizing. I'm slowly trying to organize the things that are around here. The next phase is going to have to be go with the Scott catalogs and see what stamps are what numbers, and then start to kind of put them in order so I can fill in some gaps. That's a big project, I know. I've been lucky with my father's collection. He's got them together, but he's got them all hinged in there. And so unless I pick one country and just start attacking that one, it's going to take a little while. So it's on my to-do list. What else is on my to-do list today? Today, groceries. Saturday, we always run off to Costco and Sobeys or Superstore and pick up the groceries we need for the week. Also going to try to go to the cruise center, the travel agent, and see if we can look and see what cruises might be available for the areas we're looking at. So we would like to go in the fall to celebrate both of our 50th birthdays and go for probably a week on a cruise. We've never been on a cruise before. I really want to go to Dubrovnik, Croatia. So we'd like to go to Croatia and probably Greece and maybe Italy. That's kind of where the cruises tend to be. So that's what we're going to look at. If you guys have any suggestions, or maybe you're from that area, let me know. Who's on today? I can see there's 5 people on. Don't forget to hit the like button if you can. It really helps improve people seeing this, that YouTube will promote that I have a live, let them know. There are other people that have them already set up, that they have a notification bell on, so they know when I'm going live. I did put a little preview to say that this was coming, so some of you may have spotted that, and that's why you're on. I know others just tend to watch on their televisions, so they don't have access to hitting the like button or commenting. That's all right too, but I'm glad for those of you who are on your tablets or on your phone and are able to say something, ask questions, communicate back and forth. I know a lot of people are getting to know each other that keep coming on these lives each week, so they kind of talk to each other as well. So it's kind of fun. I've got my Wait What shirt on today, where it's a little bit more mild. I don't really feel like I need a sweater inside the house or around. Welcome, Jane. Thanks for saying hello. Glad you were able to make it this week. How are things going with your stamp collection, with your post-crossing, with all your hobbies as well? I apologize if I'm sucking on a mint right now. I had an everything bagel for breakfast, so it kind of had a strong garlicky taste to it, so I wanted to get that out of my mouth, so I threw in a mint. Jane, what's the weather like where you are right now? I'm slowly starting onto the weather talk already. I guess I did mention that it was only 1 degree here and that it was kind of rainy, so we've already talked about the rain here. I'm just letting people get a chance to get on here, and then we're gonna go mobile for a second. I'll leave the office, we'll head outside, and you can see the progress of a spring coming to Moncton, New Brunswick. What other things do I have going on? I went to the post office. I had to fill up maps. I was running out of my mint stamps to send things. I've been doing a lot of writing lately, whether it's sending messages to my direct swaps or post-crossing people. I've been getting a lot of my cards arriving to their destinations. Oh, welcome, Media. You have the same temperature in Helsinki as we do here in Moncton. And you're going to get up to 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, Stephen's on from Australia. Welcome. How are things in Port Lincoln? What was I talking about? I get easily distracted. Oh yeah, I've been writing lots of things. So I even had a postcard for post-crossing that arrived in China after 301 days. The account apparently got closed, so post-crossing just registered the card. So unfortunate that got closed, but I'm sure that someone got to read the card. I've also passed 600 cards sent, so I can send 21 cards now. So I've got a big day tomorrow of cards that I can send out. I can see you guys talking amongst yourself. That's good. That's what I love about this community. You guys have gotten to know each other through my channel, and I've gotten to know you, of course, through having the YouTube. Well, Roger's on from Greece, 18 degrees Celsius. That's good, Roger. I was just saying, well, maybe we will be in Athens on our cruise. We're going to look to see what we can find. I've never been to Greece before, so it's on our list. I'm interested in going to Dubrovnik, Croatia, because of Game of Thrones and seeing that town, seeing the history around it. Wow, Media sent 715 postcards now. That's great. Media and I basically signed on to post-crossing around the same time. I know it's easier for people in Europe to get their mail received and registered quicker, as most of my mail is traveling overseas. But that's good. The big achievement. It's nice. Every time we get to a new 100 plateau, I always feel excited about that. Roger, we're looking at our cruise probably end of August, start of September. That's when I've got my weeks for vacation. So we're hoping that time. Port Lincoln, it's 14 degrees at 2:38 in the morning. Once again, Stephen, thank you so much for staying up to be a part of these lives. That's possible, Roger. I'm not sure the time frame and how long boats are in port and things. If it's the sort of thing where the cruise ship leaves from Athens, it's possible we'll have to fly into Athens first, and then probably there overnight or 2 nights, and then get on the boat and go. So until those details are lined up, we shall see. But we'll keep it in mind. I'm sure there's all sorts of things we've got to look for while we're there. Like I said, this is going to be our first cruise. So in the past, we usually go to a destination, and then we're able to explore on foot or in a car or whatever the areas around. So it'll be different to be on a ship and arrive, and then probably have either just dock and you go off and do your own thing, which is probably what we could do, or whether they set up excursions and things. Depending on how pricey they are, we'll have to figure out how that works. Because you can't really go to Athens without seeing the Acropolis, right? There are lots of other things to see, but that would be one. And maybe there's stamp stores that I've got to go to too. I don't know. We'll see. So that's on the list of things to do this weekend. What else do I have to do? I do have postcards to write tomorrow and probably some today too to respond to people. We're always watching television in the evening, so we're looking for good movies or good TV shows to watch. We started watching The Last Airbender. It's the new live action version on Netflix. We started the first episode of that last night. I also started watching Drive to Survive, the new F1 season of that. So it goes over what happened in the F1 world, Formula One world racing last year. So even though I know the answers, it's kind of neat to see the behind the scenes. Jane says, can you get a group rate for the cruise? We can all go. I'm sure there'd be something for that. I'm not sure how my wife would feel about me turning this into a That Dad Guy event rather than a 50th event. Medi has already been to Dubrovnik once, 10 years ago, many years before COVID anyways. And how did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy your time in Croatia? The Callous Heart's on from the UK. Hello. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, so this is where I want to get feedback. If you've already been to Croatia, or you are from there, or you're from Greece, or you're from that eastern side of Italy. We've been to Venice before. We were fortunate enough to do that, but not a lot of us on the other side. We've been to Naples and Pisa and Rome. Yes, we've been more on the western side of Italy than we have on the eastern side, and nothing down in the bottom, in the Sicily area, that sort of spot. Three to four stamp shops in Athens that he goes to regularly, Roger. That's great. I mean, stamp shops are all but gone here now. We have a kind of coin and stamp and sports card store, but it's mostly coins and the sports cards, not as much stamps anymore. Medi enjoyed the week of holidays she had in Croatia. Cool. Well, that's what I like to hear, Callous Heart, or the Calico Heart. I think I said Callous Heart before too. Yeah, small writing, little eyes. So your friend's been to Croatia a few times and she loves it. So that's what I want to hear. I've heard that lots of times, that Croatia is still a relatively inexpensive country to go and be a tourist in, but the sights there are just amazing, and the history around too is second to none. So that's kind of what I want to see, want to hear about. I also want to be able to experience a little bit of warm weather. Now, that time of year here in Eastern Canada, it's still going to be warm the end of August, start of September. We're going to be in the high 20s, early 30s, low 30s, that period of time too. But I want to keep the warmth as long as possible, rather than, say, hopping in a cruise ship here in March, where it might be a little bit warmer there than it is here, but still not ideal. Calico Heart, where in the UK are you? While I've got this break between people asking questions or putting comments, I want to remind people that I've put out the question to you guys that on the first Saturday of every month, I ask a question of you. And this month's question was, who is the most famous person you've encountered and where? So I've gotten 4 responses already in. I know there's more people have said that they've sent cards, so I'm hoping that they will arrive before next Saturday, because next Saturday is the first Saturday in March. So on my live stream, I will show you the cards that were sent or the letters that were sent, read about the famous people. Probably put pictures of the famous people up on my computer. I'll turn it around so those of you who don't know who they are can get a chance to figure out who they are. So that is next Saturday. So hopefully, if you want to continue to participate, if you haven't sent a card by now, probably won't arrive by next Saturday. But keep in mind that next Saturday I'll also ask you a new question, so you'll get a chance to participate for that. Calico Heart says she's in the southwest of England. Okay. Roger says, I don't know whether you have any vinyl of your favorite artists, etc. We have a large secondhand shop. No, I don't have a record player, so we don't have any vinyl here. I know it has become a new, a returned popularity for people buying their artists on vinyl. Never got back into that though. Stephen's been working on sorting some of his stamps to stay awake, so that's good. It is a big job sorting all your stamps. Even when I was putting those in the little binders up there, that was a big job, putting them out, separating by countries, putting things together. So I can relate, Stephen, that you're... Calico Heart is putting her famous person in here rather than sending it to her. I am not sure who your actor friend is. Kirian Hinds at the theater show in London. It was her birthday, and he's my favorite actor. So that was, well, it's fantastic that you met someone that you admire or enjoy the work of. I will have to look up his name. Actually, while you do that, I will open a page on my computer here and type in his name. Just because I don't know his name doesn't mean I haven't seen him before. I am not great with names. Oh, and he pops. Oh, yeah, exactly know who you mean. He pops up. Yeah, I know who he is. Yeah, I've seen him in a lot of movies. So was he attending the show, or was he a part of the show that you saw in London? So that's the sort of thing, just in case you guys are not sure what's going on, that is who she met. Set back up again, there we go. That's a great thing about having the computer right in front of me. I can type in the information real quick and get caught up on who you guys are talking about sometimes. I must admit, I've had to do that with a couple of the famous people that people have encountered, because just because they're famous where you are doesn't mean they're famous where I am, or my areas of interest may not match up the same. I gotta fix this. There. Yeah, we may not match up the same with what I'm familiar with what you might be familiar with. And that's all right. That's the part of learning. There's been some people that talk about politicians and things from their countries, and I might not know them. All right, I think we've got a few people on now. A few people left still to like things, so we're gonna wander for a second. I am going to turn the camera around in a minute. I'm gonna throw on some shoes. We'll pop out outside. Take my indoor shoes off and go to the other ones. Nadia wants to know if I've ever watched musicals. We don't have a lot of musicals here, but when I travel, we've been to a few. All right, welcome to outside. It's a little slushy. You can see the what's been melting away. You can see I've got grass around certain parts here. Grass and old leaves are starting to show up there as well. We go down the side, there's a few snowflakes blowing around. But yeah, lots of grass now starting to show up where it was snow last week or the week before. I can tell you I was comfortable in a t-shirt inside, but outside it's still cold at 1 degree or 0, where we're hovering around. So there is still some snow to melt, but it is getting going in the right direction. All right, let's flip this around again. Back in where we have heat again. I throw my indoor shoes. You can see there's decorations still around from my wife's birthday. There. All right, back to the comfort and confines of my office. You guys see a lot of videos from here. Steven says he saw Les Mis and Evita in theater. Well, that was a long time ago. What have I seen in theater? I've seen Beetlejuice recently, not recently, well, the last time I was in New York City, we went and saw Beetlejuice. I've seen Les Mis. I've seen, what other ones have I seen? Cats I've seen here when it was traveling around. We had tickets until COVID hit. We had a trip all lined up. We had bought the plane tickets, had the hotel reservations, theater and basketball game tickets all set up. We were going to go see Six. My daughter and I were going to go see that together. And we were going to go see, what was the other one we had the tickets to? Oh, Hamilton, of course. How could I forget Hamilton? We love the soundtrack for Hamilton, so we were excited about that, and we were excited about going to see Six. Six was just opening on Broadway at the time, so it was going to be the original cast to see it. But needless to say, history had other options and other plans for us, so we didn't get a chance to see them. Maybe one day. So hopefully that answers your question. And maybe enjoy the Rat Saint tomorrow when you go see it. Any other, nope, I don't think I missed any other comments coming through there. All right, you guys, any other questions? Let's get the ball rolling here. We got a few people on now. We should be able to have a few questions. I've talked about what I'm going to be doing this weekend. We've got some upcoming videos next week, actually. If you're a stamp lover, it's going to be a lot of stamp videos next week. Stamps from Stephen have shown up, so I'm going to be showing those in a video. I've got stamps that showed up from Alina in Ontario that I'll show you. I have a stamp of the month will be coming up next week because it'll be March at the end of the week, so we'll have that coming on. Someone wants me to take an English course for them. No, I'm good, thanks. So yeah, so a lot of different stamp videos will be coming out next week, which I haven't even gone through the stamps that have been sent to me, so it'll be exciting to see what has arrived. Now, I did order a stamp. That has arrived. It was the first time I've used Hip Stamp before. I don't know if anybody has used that before, but I bought a stamp through that. So I'll have that to show you in the future. Post-crossing, we talked about that earlier on in the video. I've got a bunch of cards to send out tomorrow for that, for the official ones, because they've been reaching their destinations pretty quickly. Lego, I said I've got a set of Lego arriving today. It will probably go into my backlog. I probably won't build it right away. I have other things that I should be building at some point. I'm glad that spring is coming though, because it'll mean that there'll be more festivals for me to go in to show you. Speed Sport East, it's one of the big car shows that comes here. They're already in promotions talking about what's happening this year at Speed Sport. One of the things that's happening is the General Lee from the TV show Dukes of Hazzard will be doing a jump. So if you're a car person, that's pretty exciting. And then as soon as summer gets here, we'll have tons and tons of festivals to go back to again. I've also been talking about maybe going up to Montreal. I've been trying to get up there to see Daya again. So maybe in a few weeks, if the weather improves a little bit, there may be a break in my videos a little bit, or a change to them, because I might get on the road and go up and visit her for a few days. Oh yeah, she's excited about that. She's been having a lot of her friends' parents have been coming up, so she's kind of been missing us, I guess. I originally talked about going up, and then I wasn't sure whether or not we could afford to do it, and so we're just bantering around the ideas. If I could take off maybe 3 days from work, I could go up on a Thursday and then come back on a Monday or something like that, and then have a few days up there because it's about a 11-hour drive to get there. So I do want to do it when there isn't snow. All right, come on, you guys. Put out the questions. Maybe people are feeling tired today or at work. I noticed last week we had was our first time that we got to 22 people being on at the same time. I know very low numbers still, but that's the highest one we got to. So let's see if we can get past 22. We're at 18 right now. It shows. Dead quiet. Yeah, if you notice that I'm not answering your particular question, not an appropriate question, and if you've tuned in before, you probably have heard the answer already. So, Jane wants to know if I've had any carrot cake left. No, that carrot cake did not last very long at all. My wife and I finished it off within a couple days. Now, we didn't eat a whole carrot cake with cream cheese frosting, just the two of us. My in laws were over too, so yeah, we shared it amongst ourselves. But we did get to have the leftovers. It was pretty good though. My mother in law makes a good carrot cake. Jane, what are your plans today? What's going on down there? How's the mail been? Are things speeding up? Are you starting to get things again? I've been finding the mail between Canada and the US has been a lot slower than my mail going to Europe. I'm not sure why, but it is. Oh, Lila's on. And she's in the process of designing a post-crossing meetup card. What do you think makes a good meetup card? Well, I always like meetup cards, one that show where the place is taking place. So if there is a specific building or something that screams your city, or that's where you're actually meeting, that's fun. Cartoon images too sometimes are fun to make it more playful. If it's a themed meetup, like there was one that came for me, they had their meetup at a movie theater, so they had popcorn, and that was really kind of a neat card as well. Calico Heart, that's really cool that he sat behind you in the audience. That is a pretty close encounter. And yeah, he was in Harry Potter too. Jane is doing some grocery shopping like me, yes. Oh, that's nice. You and your brother take your mother out to eat. 85. Well, it's a great age. My mother is 88 now, and my father is 90. He's coming up on his 91st birthday soon, in May. So yeah, take advantage. Enjoy the time with them when you can. I say that I know it's hard sometimes. I was Last time I was over to see my parents was on Sunday of last week, so it's been almost a week now since I've seen them. Life does get in the way sometimes, and you kind of prioritize things. It's a shame though when you think you could have been there more. Media wants to know, does anyone else have these mail delivery days like they have in Helsinki? Every other week on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then the next week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So it alternates. 5 days of mail in 2 weeks. We do not have that. We have Monday to Friday delivery, so no weekend delivery here in Canada. So we pick up mail every day of the week, other than Saturday and Sunday, and we deliver on those days too. So I know in the States they have Saturday delivery in most places. Steven says he's recently bought stamps on Hipstamp, also eBay and Stamp World. I haven't heard of Stamp World before. I'll have to check that out. It's funny, the stamp that I bought on Hipstamp, I'd also put a bid in on eBay, and it looked like I might get two of them at one point in time. Lila finds it hard that just waiting through Sunday not to get mail. Yeah, for us, we're even talking about going 4 days delivery. From an employee perspective, it might be all right if they don't cut our pay, but it will make some of those days pretty busy, I'm sure. What else we have here? Yeah, well, unfortunately, mail delivery is changing. The postal system's changing. Not as many people are sending snail mail that they once did. So parcel delivery is taking over. And so they think that if they can reduce some of the days and make it more efficient, having more being delivered in one day than spreading it out between a whole bunch, that it would make the system last. Sorry, I was just flipping back and seeing other comments that happened to be out there. Let's see if I missed a question along the way. So Stephen, same as us in Canada, Australia's mail system is the same way. We do have we have retail postal outlets that are open on Saturday for, you can go and buy stamps or mail a letter, but they don't get any deliveries that day. Our corporate post offices, though, are closed on Saturday and Sunday. So what I mean by retail post offices, some of our pharmacies have post offices in them, but they're not manned with a Canada Post employee. They're manned with a pharmacy employee that's been trained on how to use the postal system. Basically, weigh envelopes and packages and sell them stamps. But in my city, there is only one corporate post office. So in the past, I used to have more around, but now almost everything has gone to a retail outlet. It was another way for the post office to cut down on costs by not owning a whole bunch of buildings. Ten people on, 2 likes. Come on, there's got to be more people like it than that. During COVID, we didn't cut back on deliveries here. We delivered 5 days a week still. Now, the method in which we delivered, we didn't take signature items. So, I mean, we took them, but we didn't ask for signatures from the customers. We safe dropped items at the front door and left. So there was no contact with the customer. But we still delivered mail and parcels 5 days a week. Yeah, well, that is a benefit of living in an urban area. 3 post offices within 3 mile, or 4 post offices within a 3 mile radius. I too, being in the city, have lots of post offices within the radius, but only one of them is corporate. All the rest of them are in pharmacies. So there's lots of places that if I want to mail a letter, I can. My P.O. box for my address, though, is in the corporate post office, so I can only pick up my mail from them Monday to Friday. That's why I do my videos on Friday, because that's the last day that I'd get mail that week. So it made perfect sense that I would do my incoming mail on a video on a Friday. And then I'd try to rate all my postcards as much as I can on the Sunday, so they're in the mail on Monday going out. Jane says she doesn't even have a post office in her community. The nearest post office is 15 miles away. So how often do you drive to your P.O. box? Yeah, most of my mail is delivered to my P.O. box. We do have a community mailbox, as you've seen at the end of our driveway, so we do get mail there too. But almost all my mail goes to the P.O. box. Jane goes twice a week. Okay. It makes for bigger surprises, I guess, if you only go twice a week, so you can get a bunch of mail waiting for you when you get there. As you may or may not have seen in yesterday's video, I had a pretty good week with mail coming in, so every day I went to my, did I go every day? 4 days of the 5 days I went to the P.O. box, and there were mail every time. There was mail every time. Wow, I'm having a hard time speaking. Maybe I do need to take that English course. So how many of you watched the Curious George reading that I did this week? That was a little bit of a throwback video for me. A few people had suggestions of other books they thought that I should read, and maybe even some of them were suggesting that I read more stories from Curious George. I don't know. I don't know when I'll get back to doing that again. It didn't seem to garner a lot of views, so it's not really what most people in my community seem to want to watch. They want to watch more things about stamps or postcards or different events that I go to. Even the Lego videos that I do really aren't what most of you guys want to see, so I don't do as many of those anymore. It's 4:30 p.m. in her part of the UK. Well, in my part of Canada, it's 12:30. So I'm 4 hours behind you. I'm in the Atlantic time zone. Jane says she's a kid at heart. Well, that's a good thing to be. Yeah, I like to mix it up, so that's why you try to get different things on this channel, and I show you the things that I'm interested in. So if it's me going for a walk in the woods, you get that one day. If it's me reading a kid's book, or doing a Lego set, or writing a postcard, or showing you a stamp fair, or going to a car show, could be any of those things. Athens, it's 6:40 right now. That's why I've tried to have this channel as you're following along with what I do in my day-to-day life. I'm a Gamer Z says, what are your thoughts on Kiloware? I don't know what Kiloware is, so you have to enlighten me. I do see postcards at the Moncton Stamp Show. Yeah, there's a lot of vintage ones there. They tend to sell them for about $1 a piece, so it's more expensive than I want to pay for them. Someone last week or last fair that I went to did have some in the auction, a whole binder full of vintage postcards that I probably could have gotten relatively cheaply, but because I gave myself a certain budget, I didn't even bid on anything in the auction. So the next one. Oh, Kiloware, bulk stamp buying. My thoughts on it, if you're a new stamp collector, I think it's a good idea. It's a great way to get a whole bunch of different countries. You're probably mostly going to get common stamps that way. For me, buying it in pounds of stamps, I think most of the time I'm going to get duplicate stamps from what my father's already collected, so it doesn't make as much sense for me to do it that way. But I think it's a great way if you're just getting into stamp collecting. Yeah, go for it. Do I think I could have the Stamp Club host a meetup at their stamp show? I don't think I've got enough post crossers in my area to do so. So probably not for me, I couldn't. But your area, maybe you have more post crossers and would want to do that. I know there has been some crossovers at other locations between stamp shows and post crossing. They're a natural fit, the two hobbies together. It's just a matter of putting a table aside for all the post crossers to come in and do their thing. How do I store my stamps? Now I store them this way. So I don't bother to use hinges anymore. My father's collection is almost all hinged. I don't like it that way as much. I like to have the stamp protected a little bit better. I do have some stamp mounts as well too, so could do those. But yeah, I would rather those pages than hinging the stamps. That's great, Lila. You're seeing more stamp shows hosting meetups. They're a natural fit, like I said. So if you're organizing a meetup and you know people that are in a stamp club nearby, it's good to reach out and try. Roger's general question to everybody is, when doing your collection, do you include the varieties or do you store them separately? For me, welcome Jennifer, you're on the live. Jennifer is my latest trainee at Canada Post. So welcome. All right, so let's get back to that question. Different varieties of stamps, do I collect them? Yes, I do collect them. How did my father put them in his collection? He usually created a separate page for those, so he would put them by Scott catalog number, what came out. But if there is different ones, keep them separate. Lila says stamp people are learning that post crossers like to buy vintage stamps. Yeah, we do. One, to put on our stamps, put on our postcards for other people, but also to collect. And Stephen weighs in on Kiloware. He says, depends on what your expectations are. My advice is not to expect anything too special. It can be a good way to build a collection. Yeah, so I'm on the same thing. It's a beginner way to collect. You're not going to get a lot of really expensive stamps by buying in bulk, usually. I'm a Gamer says he keeps his variety separate. I am well. Welcome, join. Phoebe McGee is asking, where do I usually buy my postcards? Okay, so locally here, I get postcards at the museum. They have great postcards that are Moncton specific. when it is tourist season, I go out to the Magnetic Hill Wharf because there are stores there that have postcards, or I go to Shediac by the Giant Lobster. There's a couple of tourist shops there that sell postcards. I also have gotten postcards at Indigo chapters and bought them in bulk by theme. On eBay, you can find them too. People selling them off, or Facebook Marketplace. What else we have? Stephen doesn't buy kiloware, he buys individual stamps because you're probably at the same stage or a similar stage. You're probably further along than I am, but you're trying to fill in the holes rather than just getting a bulk of a certain country. Now, there are countries that my father doesn't have in his collection, so those I don't mind getting bulk of. If people want to swap, that's what we do. A new person is asking, when did I get involved in post-crossing? So in 2001, I was laid up from work with plantar fasciitis, so I had to be off my feet. And I had a lady at the, that I worked with at the post office who had been into post-crossing. She suggested it to me, so I had a look at it, and I've been doing it ever since. That was April 2021, so 3 years ago. Well, Maria, you can go back and see the 10 minutes you missed later on, or you can just rewind if you wanted to, but then you'd be out of sync with what we have. Lila says she likes kiloware stamps for trade. Yeah, there are lots of people that buy kiloware and use the stamp for crafts. So as a stamp collector, I kind of wheeze a bit at that, but I have gotten crafty cards that are made out of stamps, and they do a fantastic job with it. Oh, Jen has had plantar fasciitis too. Yeah, it's not fun. Clive is back into the hobby in a big way. Is that the post-crossing hobby or stamp collecting hobby? We've been talking about both. We've got a mixture of questions coming in on both of them. So, but I thank you for liking my enthusiasm. Calico Heart Roger is in Athens, Greece. Phoebe McGee's going to send me a postcard. All right, send away. What themes do I like most? Have you tried writing to popular personalities or royal families? I haven't, no. And they haven't tried to write to me yet, as far as I know. My themes I like with post-crossing, hedgehogs, of course, with Polo being our family pet. I enjoy getting hedgehog postcards, even though I would think by now I've probably gotten all the hedgehog postcards that are out there. Blue cat cards I like. I like interesting places, unusual themes that pop through. I take just about anything. Lately, I have been asking for Formula One postcards. I haven't gotten a lot of them, but I know that they are out there, and I did that for my daughter who's big into Formula One. Clive is into stamp collecting, but post-crossing has his attention. Yeah, post-crossing is great as a stamp collector because we're getting stamps from around the world. We're getting to see the new stamps, and if you put in your wish list that you like stamps, sometimes people include them in the envelope. So great way to collect stamps on top of it as well. So I love it. I hadn't realized. It says there is such a department in post-crossing to send postcards to popular personalities. And she once sent to Freddy Krueger and was sent back his autograph. Well, it's nice that he got something in return for sending the postcard. I know that Donald Sutherland, who recently got a stamp issued here in Canada, gave out his P.O. Box address in Quebec and was asking people to send him postcards with his stamp on it. How do I store my postcards? I have done a video on it, but I could show you real quickly here. I have these towers. So they're all in country order. So this one, for example, is all my Canadian postcards that I've gotten from direct swaps. That's in there. These are all my direct swaps. These aren't my official post-crossing ones. My official post-crossing ones, oh, it's the easiest way, are in these binders. So those are there. I just toppled over a picture here. Let's fix that. There we go. So yeah, so direct swaps I store in these big tubs beside me, and I put them in country order, and then all my official ones are going in these binders for right now. Calico Heart says, I have a hard time speaking, need a cup of tea. I think what happens is my mind gets racing and I start talking about a variety of different things, and sometimes the words in my head don't come out as quickly as I would like them to. How much does it cost to rent a postal box instead of getting it to your home? I think I pay $250 a year for my postal box. And the reason I did that was because I'm on YouTube, so rather than giving out my personal address, I went to the P.O. box. It's been a whole lot easier for me. You have 5 folders that are all flowers. Is that what you're saying? Well, if that's your theme and that's what you like, then there must be a nice collection. Jane says that's what she uses for post-crossing. Yeah, for people that are worried about putting out your personal address out there on post-crossing, P.O. box is a good way to go. I don't think there's too much wrong with having your real address there. For me, as someone who's on YouTube, though, and does a lot of videos and I hear from people around the world, it's just easier for me to have all my mail go to a P.O. box. And I get people that just rate me out of the blue, too, so it's kind of nice for that. Wow, $300 or $400, £300 or £400 per year for a P.O. box? Yeah, that is expensive. Now, we have different sizes, so we have more expensive boxes. I just got the smallest size box because I'm in there every other day collecting the mail so it doesn't get too full. And my postal people know me when I go in too, so if there's a parcel that comes that's too big, rather than bending it, they put it aside for me. Oh, okay, so your expression is, these are still flowers, the berries will come later. So as a post-crosser, are you saying that your collection still is small, but it will grow? Is that what you're trying to say? Kate's asking what we're talking about. A variety of things. People are talking about having a P.O. box. Others are talking about stamp collecting. Others are talking about the hobby of post-crossing. It's whatever question pops up here we seem to be talking about. What do I usually write on a postcard when I design it? It depends on the person I'm writing to, I guess. If it's someone, if it's a direct swap, it might just be about the things we've talked about in the past. If it's a post-crosser that I'm writing to, it might be about their interests or some of the things that they ask to have written to them. Yeah, generally it's different. It might be about the weather. It might be what it's like living in Canada. Clive is in Mexico with a poor connection. Thanks again for sharing on YouTube and encouraging others to join in on our hobby. Well, it's my pleasure to be able to share the hobby and share my experiences with stamp collecting and post-crossing and Lego and all the other things that I do. Oh, that's nice, Stephen. He says it's only $159 a year for a P.O. box in Australia, and you get a $5 discount when you renew on time. I'd like to get a $5 discount. Calico Heart, I did ask for questions. This is, what am I having for my tea tonight? Well, we don't do tea in my household. If you're asking what I'm having for my supper or my dinner this evening, I don't know yet. It's lunchtime here. I had an everything bagel with cream cheese for breakfast this morning, and not very much. I haven't given much thought on what I'd be having this evening to eat. My thoughts on getting more young people involved in the hobby. Um, I think the best way is to promote it. Doing things like this, having YouTube channels showing your own experience. Maybe younger people that are on TikTok. I don't do a lot of TikToks, but I do have a few every once in a while. So just showing them what it's like. I know my daughter and some of her friends at university have had to make postcards. I've shown a couple of them that have been sent to me for one of their university classes. So that's an eye opener for them. Some of them have never written letters before, let alone putting together postcards. It is a changing medium. I know when I go to the stamp fairs, most of the age bracket is 60 or above. Sometimes at my age, I'm the youngest one that's there. It's a shame, but it is kind of a changing hobby. PO boxes in Russia are between $30 and $60 a year. Calico Heart likes my post-crossing decorating videos. I don't do a lot of them, but thank you for the ones that I have done. Maybe I should do a few more of them. Roger says people that have teenagers should introduce them to the collection. I have a teenager left now. He doesn't seem to be very interested in stamps. He's sometimes get interested in the cards that I receive, but that's about it. I really like the idea of teachers showing it. I've had a number of teachers through post-crossing that have started accounts and use that as a teaching tool, one for their children to either learn a language, maybe it's English they're trying to learn and they like to get cards in English, so they use that as a teaching tool. Geography, getting cards from around the world and learning about different places that they're at. So yeah, if you're a teacher and you've used post-crossing as a way to introduce your students to male international relations, languages, stamps, great way to do it. I've been happy enough with my YouTube channel that I have a variety of people, a variety of ages that tune in and watch, and they tune in for a bunch of different things, so I appreciate that. Introducing philately in a school curriculum. I don't know how that would work. I don't know how you do a course just on appreciation of stamps. I can see how stamps, you could use them to teach subjects or be introduced. I try to do that with some of the stamps that I feature, talk about the history behind them as a history lover. So you'd have to be a very creative teacher, I think, to do that. Calico Heart says, yes, please, more videos on writing and decorating postcards. Thank you, Simple Pleasures. Only been post-crossing a couple of weeks. So congratulations, you're new to the hobby. If it's helping your mental health, more the better. Well, you're very brave to ask people from non-English countries to write in their native languages. I find it hard enough, even when I receive postcards that are English, in English, to translate them. Some people's handwriting, much like my own, I am certainly not putting myself outside of that box, but people's handwriting sometimes can be very hard to read. So if it's not in English, if I was even reading one in French, which I can understand French, I find it very difficult sometimes. So to get a card that was written in Mandarin or in Russian or whatever. It would be very difficult for me to understand. Trying to put Google Translate over it to figure it out. And Jane says, yes, post-crossing is helping in her mental health as well too. I think it's fabulous. It's a great way to bring positive energy to people. Just to get the card, let's grab an example here. Media, if you're on, here's the example. I got a card, Cristiano Ronaldo. If you're a football fan, you might love his work, but just a couple blurbs on the back that say what you're doing that day. It's wonderful. And you get a chance to see other places in the world. You get to see beautiful stamps. Yeah. This one came from our friend Stephen, who's on now. Get to see some beautiful stamps in an envelope. Can you go wrong with the hobby? I don't think so, other than the fact that it gets expensive to send cards all over the world. For me, $2.71 to send outside the world. That doesn't include the price of the card, the decorations I might put on it too. Calico Ho, did I answer that question already? I have answered what started me in post-crossing. I'll give you the brief version. In 2001, I was off with plantar fasciitis from my job at the post office, and a fellow employee at the post office told me about the hobby, so that's what got me involved in it. And Media says she sent a hedgehog postcard to me today. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. There is multiple languages saying I love post-crossing. That's great. Yeah, so £2.20 for international stamps. Price just went up there. Price of postage goes up in Canada in April. I didn't see what the new rates are going to be yet, but I did hear the announcement that it was going up. I know it just went up in the United States too. Yeah, stamps certainly are little forms of art. Whether it's here, here's my little Canadian Post mailbox, and there are some stamps on a roll. But, you know, those are just little images of places in Canada. So we have stamps like that. Those are the tiny ones that people talk about Canada having. But we don't just have tiny stamps. We have larger stamps like that, the lighthouses and the postcards, mother and child, animal stamps. One of my favorite ones that came out just recently, the Diwali, giant colorful stamps. Oh yeah, a variety. Everywhere you go, all the different countries have a variety of different stamps that they put out. Like the German stamps with the sheep in the fields. They look like they're from chocolate. Yeah, they do kind of, as they prance through the field. I know the stamp you're talking about. I do get that one a lot on my postcards from Germany. You love my little stamp roller thingy. Yeah, they put out these little boxes because this is what a Canadian mailbox will look like. These ones came out during the Vancouver Olympics. That's why it looks this way, but I can get the red ones that are the more modern ones now. This is an outgoing mailbox. I do have another mailbox from my childhood. Let's flip this around. See this one here? That's what Canada Post mailbox used to look like. These big boxes like that. So that was a piggy bank that I had. Oh, I think I just have something that showed up. What's my thoughts on NFTs as it relates to stamps? Well, just 1 second. We're going to turn this around. My thoughts on NFTs. All right, let me close the door. Back into the office. This is turning into a long video. Normally we are done by now. But to answer that question, what are my thoughts on NFTs? I don't really have a lot of thoughts on NFTs, really. I like physical things that you can touch. I like things that have been through the mail system, that have already had a journey, that have a story behind them. So that's my thought. Stamp mailbox roller envy. Yeah, you can order them on Canada Post's website if you want one. Dad will soon have 8 boxes of postcards and 8 more boxes of stamps will be taken. I'm not sure what that means, sorry. Roger says Athens is putting out a new stamp, the second stamp of the year. Our newest stamp comes out March 1st. It is a floral stamp. We didn't have a Year of the Dragon stamp this year. I was kind of disappointed by that. So it is a shame. So Stephen is into the quirky stamps. He has some crypto stamps for his collection, but they tend to be a bit expensive. Yeah. Stamps that are just images or created in an internet world that aren't physical to touch, they don't make sense to me. I keep forgetting what the time difference is between us. Well, between you in Russia and me here in Eastern Canada, I'm not sure. It depends on where in Russia you are. So we're in the Atlantic time zone, and currently it is 1 o'clock. Now, that wasn't my mailman that came to the door, if you were wondering what I did there. This was an Amazon delivery driver. This is the Lego set that I ordered that showed up. Want to see what I got? We'll do a unboxing here. We can do that. So, like I said, we don't have mail delivery on Saturday and Sundays, but that doesn't stop parcel delivery by other organizations to come through. So, what did I get? I got this Clone Commander Cody helmet. If you've seen the Lego helmet series that I've done videos on, I got this one. It was $25 less than retail price off Amazon, so I jumped at the opportunity. I didn't have it in my Jen says we don't work on Saturdays. No, we don't work on Saturdays and Sundays. The only Sundays that we do work on is in the month of December leading up till Christmas. In the larger centers, they open up for parcel delivery. So in Moncton and Dieppe. Here in New Brunswick, we are open for delivery on Sundays, parcels only in December. But other than that, no, we don't work Saturday and Sundays. Nope. Drum roll, missed it. All right. So let me just slice down this box. Sometimes the boxes are bigger than what's inside. Stephen says in his part of Australia, they're having a hard time finding postal delivery people. So there might be an opportunity if I get tired of snow to move to Australia and be a man. Well, maybe. A big box. break that down. So who knows? Maybe I just made a bunch of loud noises. Maybe moving to Australia and being a mailman is an option. But riding a motorbike to deliver the mail, that would be cool. As long as I don't have to fight off alligators and poisonous snakes and deadly spiders, sharks. Australia has some of the most deadliest animals in the world, all in one spot. It's fantastic. It's a beautiful country. The time that my wife and I got to travel there was fantastic, but yeah, my wife wouldn't stay in our hotels or bed and breakfast and things all on the first floor. She wanted to at least be up a level in case any creepy crawlies showed up, especially snakes. She doesn't think she does the snakes. Jenny did a long plane ride. At the time we were living in Vancouver, so we flew Vancouver to Hawaii. So that was the only time I've ever been in Hawaii, was in the airport. And then from there we went from Honolulu all the way to Sydney. It was a long way. I have to agree, Calico Heart, Aussie posties are instantly cool if they are delivering on a motorcycle. Would it be even better if it's a motorcycle with a sidecar and all your parcels went in the sidecar? That'd be awesome. You use mailboxes for all sorts of little things like seedlings. So you take old mailboxes and repurpose them for potted planting. If you can reuse something and give it a new life, all the power to you. Recycle, reuse. Do I do any gardening? I used to do gardening. We used to have lots of things on the side of the house. I have more moved into planting things and hoping that they will survive. We have a lot of fruit trees and plants around our house, grapevines, kiwis, pears, apples, raspberries, things that come back every year. So I just have to kind of prune them. That's about all I have to do. The days of having tomatoes and green beans and all that stuff, I don't do that anymore. I just don't have time. You want me to send mailboxes to Russia? I can't even send a letter to Russia right now, unfortunately. That's cool. Jane says she's always wanted a motorcycle with a sidecar. Her mother had a friend back in the 1950s who delivered for a pharmacy via motorbike with sidecar. I think I've always talked about, and my wife said, oh, we should get a, she didn't really say we should get a motorcycle, but she had said if we had a motorcycle, it would be me riding in the sidecar. I think the sidecar is really cool. I think the sidecar is cooler than the motorcycle itself. So, but I'm also a person that we had a Fiat 500 because I liked having a little tiny car. I used to call it my Italian sports car. But I get a little quirky that way. And Lego. So I have another helmet I have to do before this one. I still have a few of them that I'm missing now. Captain Rex, I don't have that one yet. I don't have Princess Leia in her helmet from Return of the Jedi. Yes, I see that you're having some in Russian and some in English coming through. What part of Russia are you in? It's a great thing about this group. We have Australia on now, we have the UK, we have the United States, we have Canada, we have Russia. I love that people are coming from all over. We are coming up, though, on 75 minutes of a live stream. This is probably one of the longer ones, But you guys keep talking, keep participating, so we keep going. Stephen says, Alexander, what kind of plants do you have? Luckily, Stephen does speak Russian, so he probably had no problem with your translation. I don't think it's going to fit on my head. These helmets are only about this big, and it's a solid block of Lego inside, so there is no place. It is much smaller than this big head. Is post-crossing my main hobby? I would say no, my main hobby is probably stamp collecting. No, I'll show you the size of these helmets. I'll show you the other ones that I have here shortly. I got back into stamp collecting because of my father when I inherited his collection. But through post-crossing, it really ignited back into the stamp collecting as well. Lego collecting is a big hobby of mine. If you've seen any of my videos and what we have around the house, that is also a big hobby of mine. So, Jen, to answer your question, my hobbies that you'll see me promote on here are stamp collecting, post-crossing, and Lego. Is there Lego of Doctor Who? Yes, there is Lego for Doctor Who. The TARDIS came out in Lego. Theme park dude, does that guy like roller coasters? I have been on a number of them. I've been to Disney World and Universal, but not crazy about roller coasters. I like the other rides better. The ones that are more simulator based. Although I would like to go to Universal and do the new ride that came out that you're kind of in Hagrid's. Thank you, from Harry Potter. His motorcycle and sidecar. That looks like a fun ride, which is a roller coaster. Alexandria sounds like she's got lots of fruits and things in her vegetation growing. Yeah, there's some pistachios and almonds. All right, guys, hit the like button. We're up to 6. We've had 13 people, and we've been as high as 19, I think, all at the same time. All right, let me do a quick walk here, and I will show you what the size of these Lego helmets looks like. Wander this way. Wander this way. And we'll flip this around. So these are the size of those Lego helmets. That's my hand. That's the helmet. They're not huge. But they are great. Love them. So I still have the Mandalorian helmet that I haven't put together too. So I got some work to do when I get bored or when I have the time to do it. Back to the office. Alexandria wants to try to grow mushrooms. Hagrid's is amazing. All the launches are so fun. Okay, so you've done it already. Where are you located that you've been able to go to it? Thank you, Jane, for hitting the like button every time you're watching one of my videos. I appreciate it. I think what do we have here? Shame the helmet isn't wearable. I think wearing Lego would be very uncomfortable. So I'm quite happy that it is just a display piece. Alexandra. That is cool that a theme park dude travels the world to go to all the different theme parks. Where is the furthest you've gone? And what's your home base? Where do you live? So you go by Sandra. I like that. Just like Sandra Bullock. I've always dreamed of riding a bus at speed. Yeah, like riding a bus at regular speed. Such a variety of people on here. We are going to wrap this up very soon, though. It is 20 after 1 here locally. Theme Park Dude is from the UK. He's done lots in the US and Europe. Theme Park Dude, you don't have a girlfriend that lives in Florida, do you? Can you imagine driving a bus on the Nürburgring? Wow, that... Actually, speaking of the Nürburgring, my daughter just got a job with a simulator company in Montreal. They do installs of simulators around the world. And apparently this summer they're going to do some stuff at the Nürburgring. So I'm not sure if she's going to get a chance to go there or not, but it'd be pretty cool if she does. She is doing social media stuff for them. What's my most expensive Lego set? In what it's valued at now, or the most I've ever paid for a Lego set? Sandra, you've got an amazing green thumb, if you know that expression. You're a fantastic gardener if you're able to do all this stuff from seedlings or from seeds. Maria is going to enjoy a nice pastry and some tea soon. Lucky. I do have the Lego Millennium Falcon and the Lego Death Star. They're both knockoffs, though not original Legos, but they did cost me a pretty penny, just not as much as the original Legos did. But probably my most valuable set is the Yellow Castle that came out in the 70s. That was my childhood one. Oh, I see the likes have increased again, so that's good. Well, folks, I think we need to draw this to an end. We've had a lot of great topics come through. Media has been to Leninmäki. Must be a theme park in Finland. Where Sandra is, they have a huge children's area. One has a whole floor of Lego. That's cool. Calico Hearts found a like button. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, you guys. Thanks, everyone, for joining. I'm going to wrap it up. I said that before, and then we've got on to other topics and things, but I do want you guys to enjoy the rest of your days or your evenings, whatever time of day it is for you. Remember, every Saturday I do a live stream, so if you had fun and you want to come back, you can do that. And otherwise, check out the videos that I put out almost daily on a variety of topics. We've covered a lot of them today of what we're talking about. And then next Saturday, I'm going to read off the answers to the question of who is your closest encounter with a celebrity that you've had and where. I've gotten some responses in, so I'm going to show you them next week. All right, you guys, have a magical week.